Here are 7 brutally honest lessons when getting into rental arbitrage. And for you guys that don't know what that means, it's a fancy way of saying we don't have to buy a property. We don't have to go through the banking system. We can just rent a property from a landlord, get their permission to put it on Airbnb, and you can start a business immediately. That being said, my name is Investor Mike. I'm the #1 Airbnb coach in America right now, and I'm going to give you the lessons I learned along the way so you don't make the same mistakes. You're going to want to stay all the way to the end because each lesson is a gem, and it's going to help you save a lot of time, energy, and money in the beginning. That being said, let's start with this one, where a lot of people are teaching. These people are teaching to get apartments. #1 is houses over apartments. Why? A house is we're pitching John, a homeowner. An apartment, you're pitching an apartment complex, which is a business. Business requires tax returns, financials. They're going to require you to have a Paydex score, which is a business credit score of 80 or higher generally. With a house, you can get in. They're not going to ask for financials. They're probably not going to ask for a website. They're probably not going to ask you for your business credit. And it's much easier to get your feet wet starting with your very first property with either being a townhouse or a single family house. Lesson #2, and that is this. Why is the failure rate so high? Most people want to know why the failure rate is astronomical in Airbnb right now. It's one of the hottest trending markets right now to get into Airbnb, but let me tell you why the failure rate is astronomical, and that is this. Think about it this way. If you pick a property that is in a wrong market and the wrong location, here's what's going to happen. If you don't understand property market research, and if you Google why are most people failing, it's because they can't pay the landlord their monthly rate. Let's say the rent is $2,000 a month, and you brought 5 guests in for the month of April. They each paid you $200. You brought a total of $1,000 in, and you have a $2,000 rent payment. Where do you think the other $1,000 comes from to pay Mr. Landlord? Yep, you guessed it, right out of your pocket. How many months in a row can you lose $1,000 before you say these words? Airbnb sucks, oversaturated, it's not working. Negative. You don't know what you're doing. Not you, because you guys are here wanting to learn. But why such the high failure rate is because property and market research. Pick the wrong property, you're dead in the water. Second reason you can't get a landlord to say yes. You got no credibility, no background, no Airbnbs. You got no references, no website, a brand new LLC, and you're wondering why landlords are saying, hey, no, when you get your shit together, let's roll. But you don't have that yet. How do you get your foot in the door when you don't have the credibility up front? I'm going to share with you in a minute. #3, most people ask me what software you should get. AirDNA.co is the #1 software. But do me a favor. If you get one thing out of this video, it's lesson #3. And that is this. Make sure that you get paid software versus the free version. My students do not have to pay for it because I give them my corporate level access. I pay the $2,000 a year up front and I give it to my students so you guys can win. This will help you mitigate the risk of picking the wrong property in the wrong market, because if you don't do this, it's like jumping in front of a train. Like, why would you want to get into a business without knowing the numbers? The reason for the high failure rate is because Uncle Joe had a property, or your parents had a property, or you saw a for rent by sign, or you got on Zillow and you're like, I don't know, I think that this is a great area. Let's just put it on Airbnb. No, you don't do it that way. You got to do your research, and you better have good software that has accurate numbers, because if the numbers are skewed, that's what's going to happen to you every month, where you're going to be short and you're going to come out of pocket every month versus the other way around. #4, and that is this. Coaches versus other coaches. Here's a lesson I had to learn. I believe that I have the #1 coach in my corner in the United States. Some of you guys know Mr. GC Grant Cardone. He's a billionaire, okay? Billionaire in the making. You guys, listen, I have a great coach, somebody that I've spent millions of dollars with. Why? Because if you have the right coach, the right mentor, the right person helping you, you can go from here to here much faster by closing the gap of proximity to where they're at. If you guys are here with 0 Airbnbs, 1, 2, 3, or 5, and you want to connect with me, we're going to shorten that gap tremendously by having the right person hold you accountable to make sure you're doing the right thing every single day. Because I understand that most people fail in anything in the first 21 days unless they build a habit. If you're not doing the right things in order, guess where you're going to be? You're going to be in that huge failure rate of people that don't know what they're doing. #5, bad pitching versus good pitching. Let me give you an example. A bad pitch. Hey, Mr. Landlord, love your property, love the area. I've got a couple of kids. We're ready to pay the rent payment. We're ready to pay the security deposit. We want to rent your property. We want to know if Mr. Landlord, you would love, if you would be okay with us, putting the property on Airbnb. We're really going to take care of your property. We have some pets, and we smoke. We'll go on the back porch so we don't, mess with any of the neighbors. You guys want a picture like that? Shaky, no confidence, and pitching Airbnb on the front end. Or we're a corporate leasing company, Mr. Landlord. We love your property. We love the area, and we're super excited to rent from you. We are a corporate leasing company, which means we have travel nurses, doctors, chiropractors, business professionals, and relocators. Our clients sometimes stay for 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes they stay for 2 to 3 months. But Mr. Landlord, at the end of the day, the big difference, or what we do different from any traditional tenant, is we keep your property in for sale condition the entire lease. In fact, it'll be in better condition when we leave than it is right now. The reason is we have a professional cleaning crew that comes in once or twice a week to deep clean the property, as well as any maintenance on the property under $1,000, we are going to handle ourselves. We are super serious. We have no pets, no little kids generally, and we have no smokers. We're not going to paint the back bedrooms green and pink for the different, kids. We're going to make sure, again, the property is immaculate the entire lease. We're so serious that we would actually like to do a 2-year lease with you instead of a 1-year lease to show that we're really serious about renting the property today. Mr. Landlord, we have the deposit ready to rock and roll. If you could shoot us over a lease, we're ready to rock and roll and get your property ready. It's a win-win situation for both of us. Can we put together a deal? That's how you're going to pitch it, guys. Did you hear me say anything about the word Airbnb in that second pitch? No. Now, for you guys that said, well, that might be being dishonest. No, it's not, okay? Because if you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, do you jump in bed? If you're trying to get married, okay, to a woman, for example, or a man, either way, are you going to sleep with them on the first day and try, right? No, you guys are going to build a relationship first. You're looking for the long term, not for the one night stand. Same thing here, guys. We're not looking for hit them with Airbnb off the head. The reason is because it's all over the news where people got sick, people have died in Airbnbs, and it hit Fox News, ABC. And what landlords heard is you're going to party in their place and trash it instead of pitching it as a corporate lease. But what's going to happen is once we build a relationship with them, then we're going to have a conversation about short-term rentals, and they're going to sign a legal document. It's called an addendum, which basically says, Mr. Landlord, you understand we're not going to live in the property, but you're allowing us to put it on Airbnb. They're going to sign off on it. So that's the way you want to do it, okay? And that's how you're going to get deals done. Number 6, a lot of people want to ask me this question. Mike, what is the cost? This is one of the biggest things I get. What is the cost? You guys are operating under the wrong mindset, okay? And the operation of the wrong mindset is going to get you in trouble because your expectations are something different. You get online right now and Google these words. How much does it cost to get into Airbnb arbitrage? You're going to see anywhere between 5 and 10K. Let me break that down for you. Number 1, you've got your rent payment. We're going to say that's $2,000 a month. Number 2, you have your security deposit. That's equal to the first month. That's $4,000. You have your furniture on a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. That's about $3,000 to $4,000. So now we've got $2,000 rent, $2,000 on your security deposit. That's $4,000. $3,000 in rent. That's $7,000. You don't get any software, and you haven't got any contracts or addendums, and you don't have a coach. So the reason why it's $5,000 to $10,000 is because of those expenses. In a second, I'm going to share with you how I'm going to be able to eliminate 90% of those costs for you up front, and how I got voted the #1 Airbnb coach. You have to understand that the cost to get into Airbnb, if you do this right, or that's why I told you guys stay to the end, because I'm about to knock your socks off. So make sure your shoes are tied very tightly. Let's go on to number 7 first, and that is this: listing pictures. I had no clue what I was doing. Even if you had the perfect property, you got the landlord to say, you get up on Airbnb, you have the perfect property. Now you got to do your title, you got to do your description, you got to do your pictures, and you got to do what they call SEO. And by the way, if you don't know what SEO is, this is so important to actually get people to book. Airbnb is an interest algorithm. What they care about is views and clicks. And if you're not on the first page of Airbnb, it's like being on Google on the 4th page. Nobody's going there. So if on Airbnb, if you're on the very first page, you're going to get a lot more views and a lot more clicks, which means more bookings. The way to do that is to know how to do the SEO, search engine optimization. I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to help you with the title. I'm going to help you with the description. I'm going to help you with the pictures. I'm going to help you with the SEO. And also, the most important thing is automating the business. Because in the beginning, I spent 25, 30 hours a week on the very first property. Now, you tell me how I'm going to scale to 20, 30 properties if I'm spending 20 hours a week on one property. Ain't going to happen. What's the solution? It's called automation. So what I'll do is I'll take Airbnb, vrbo, and bookings.com, put it onto a multi-channel calendar for you. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to throw it onto a multi-channel calendar. Now I'm going to integrate API code this over to this multi-channel multi-channel calendar. Say that 3 times fast. Multi-calendar, multi. When you do that, guess what's going to happen? It's going to eliminate your guest communication. It's going to eliminate your communication with the cleaners. Everything should be automated. Okay? And that's how you go from either 1 property to 50 properties and literally spending 10 to 15 minutes a day, which is what I teach my students. And that is the way this business should be ran. If not, you're going to have but 1 property and you're going to do this as a hobby. If you're looking to do it as a hobby, go play pool or darts. If you're looking to do this as a business and build an empire, you got the right person sitting in front of you to change the way that you think, the way that you operate, and how to actually get started and get your first Airbnb in 30 days or less from today. Now, let's talk about the cost for a minute because we didn't cover this. By the way, if you have gotten an enormous amount of value because these 7 tips will change the way you think and the way you operate your first, make sure you take a second and subscribe to the channel because I come to you every single day with all real stuff, with no fluff, to make sure you guys are winning in the game. And nobody else is going to tell you that they're going to help you get a property in 30 days or less. I don't care what your credit score is. I don't care what your experience is. I don't care if you have a brand new LLC. I don't care if you've been doing Airbnb, you've never been an entrepreneur, you're working 16 hours a day. None of that matters. Because here's what I'm going to do. Once you and I are working together and help you find the right property in the right market, I make sure that it financially makes sense. What that means for me is that the property rents for $1,500, I'm looking for $3,000 potential guest revenue. If the property rents for $2,000, I'm looking for $4,000 in potential guest revenue per month. Once you and I have identified that, then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a 3-way call. You, me, and the landlord. I'm going to get on the phone, use my negotiation skills, my background, my Airbnbs, my references, my website, and close the deal for you. That's why we can get a deal in 30 days. If you guys want to do this, and you want to do it the right way, I challenge you to do one thing. Put the word help in the comment section, and I personally will reach out to you to help you change the game, just like I've been helping all these students. And I'm telling you something. You get into my private WhatsApp group and you see the quality of the people, the quality response you get, and the love that you get, and the community of the people that are in there who are changing lives every day. You're going to feel like you're at home. Welcome to the Airbnb family. My name is Investor Mike. I love each and every one of you guys. Put the word help in the comment section and let's get your first property in 30 days or less. God bless, be safe.